Welcome back, I'm George, and in this video, I'm going to give you 77 tips, tricks, and settings for your Google Pixel 9 and 9 Pro. More specifically, I'm going to show you how to dominate the new AI features, all the settings you need to change to make the most out of your phone, and of course, all of the new improvements we got with Android 15. But anyways, that being said, and like I always do, let's begin with what I believe are the most important features. So much like what we got on the S24 and S24 Ultra at the beginning of the year, the new Pixels have a circle to search functionality. So if you tap and hold at the bottom of the phone, you can actually circle anything you want on the display, and the phone will do a smart search to give you the most relevant information about that specific thing. And of course, this feature can be used anywhere around the system or in any app. So for example, if you want to circle something that's in one of the photos you took, you can just tap and hold and then circle that thing. In this case, let's circle my dog, which is a border collie. As you can see right away, tells me it is a border collie, gives me the most relevant information, pictures, relevant questions. So it is a smart search. It is not like the typical Google search that gives you sort of like web pages, and then you can tap on images and it gives you images. This basically gives you a mesh of everything surrounding this image. So it is not meant to do something you couldn't do before, but it's going to help you get information a lot faster. Now, as many of you know, Google phones have the Google Assistant. So you can ask, basic relevant questions about the weather, apps or schedules, or just the basic stuff. So for example, you can say, "Okay, Google, what's the weather like in New York City?"
In New York, United States, it's 38 and cloudy.
It's going to give you,
There will be scattered
okay.
snow showers with a high of 41 and a low of 31.
You done? Okay, it's going to give you a basic summary of the weather, and you can do this with any other app that's in the system, and you can even ask for a joke, but it's fairly basic. Now, with the new Pixel 9s, we get access to Gemini, which is an artificial intelligent voice assistant that's going to take things to a whole new level. And of course, because this is a Google Pixel phone, setting this up is very easy. You just have to enter the app and then accept the terms and conditions pretty much. You'll get the menu right away. You can start asking questions. As you can see, it has a special mode where you can have a conversation. What do you think about Stoicism?
Stoicism's a fascinating school of thought.
It's very, very impressive. It takes very little time to respond. You can ask about anything. It's maybe not as close as real life as we thought, but it's very, very, very good and much better than the basic Google Assistant. Automatically, once you set Gemini up, it is going to replace the Google Assistant. So once you say, "Okay, Google," again, as you can see, the Gemini pop-up is going to show up, and you can still ask the basic questions. "Okay, Google, what's the weather like in New York City?"
In New York, United States.
And it's going to give you the basic answers you got with the Google Assistant, but you can also ask for more complex things. What a lot of people don't know is that Google has also meshed their image creating tool into Gemini. So you can get the basic answers you got with Google Assistant, you can get the more complex answers you get with Gemini, but you can also generate images. So you can say, "Create a picture of a dog drinking milk in a mansion." And in a couple of seconds, it's going to create an image, maybe not super accurate because it's still learning, but it's going to create an image of a dog drinking milk in what seems like a relatively big house that could be considered a mansion. Yes. Now, those are probably the most known AI features on the Pixel 9s, but there's more. If you tap and hold on the home screen and then tap on wallpapers and style, and then tap on more wallpapers, you will actually be able to create an AI wallpaper. This is very interesting. So you can choose from a range of different templates like imaginary, painting, terrain. Let's actually choose, for example, mineral right here. And then you can change the prompt that was used to create that image so you can create a whole new image. So for example, the default prompt is a close-up image of agate with warm hues, but I can change it to azurite, and then I can change warm to pastel. And then I can generate a new set of images with those new words in that prompt. As you can see, it gives me 4 different options to choose from. And the cool thing about it is that if you don't like any of these images, you can actually come back the next day and it's going to give you a whole new set of images because AI is always learning. So this theoretically will be much worse than what you will be able to get in 3, 4, 5 months if you keep trying. Now, the cool thing is that there's something even more impressive you can do with AI on the wallpaper section. If you tap on My Photos and you select any of the photos you've taken, like for example, this photo of my dog, of course, you can choose to select the boring basic photo as your wallpaper, like we've been able to do for the past 20 years. But you can also tap right here on this little AI icon and generate a cinematic wallpaper from that image. Let's enable that feature. It is going to take a couple seconds. And once it's done, as you can see, it is going to create sort of like a parallax 2.5D effect on that image, which looks a lot better, a lot more professional than the baseline image. And well, moving on, there's actually more AI features on the Pixel 9s, but those are specific to certain apps, so I'm going to leave them for later. Now let's move on to the Android improvements we got with the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro. The first one is actually located on the app drawer because it's a new app. As you can see, we have a new Files app that's basically going to gather pretty much everything you have on your phone, all the images, videos, files, everything, songs, everything. This is more so like the App Explorer on Windows or Finder on the Mac. The cool thing about it is that now we get a new safe folder. This is a folder protected by a pin. Mine is 1, 2, 3, 4. That can store anything you want that, of course, you don't want other people to see. So if you have, let's say, private information, private images or audios or documents you don't want anybody to see, you can store all those things under the safe folder that's protected by another layer of security. The cool thing is that if you tap on these 3 buttons right here, the 3 dots, you can actually select Hide Safe Folder. So it's basically going to disappear for another layer of security. So if you hand your phone to someone and they happen to come to the Files section and you don't even want them to know there's a hidden section where you store secret documents, you can hide it so they don't even know. Whenever you want to bring it back though, you just have to tap on the 3 dots right here and select Show Safe Folder, and it'll be visible back again. Now, another very interesting Android update is that now on the Weather app, we can customize the tiles to be positioned anywhere we want. So as you can see, the Weather app is composed by different tiles that show different types of information, but they are arranged in a specific way, and you may not like that way. For example, some people may want to check the humidity or the air quality first off when they enter the app. That was, of course, not possible before, but now it is. You just have to tap and hold on those tiles and then move them anywhere you want on the app. You can move them all the way to the top, so when you enter the app, those are the first things you see. This is very convenient. But anyways, that being said, let's move on to the settings section. I'm going to show you how to customize the Pixel so you can take full advantage out of all of its features. Let's tap on Settings. Let's scroll all the way down to System. And first of all, before we do anything else, let's tap on Software Updates. This is very important because for big software updates or app updates, the phone is not going to do those things automatically. You actually have to come here and check for updates before you can install them. In this case, as you can see, my system is up to date. I have Android 15, but I think I have some app updates. In this case, let me take a look. Google, Personal Safety, Pixel Camera, and Pixel Stand. All those apps need an update, so let's update all while we make the video. I actually recommend you do this around once a month, just in case. Now, that being said, let's go back to the system page and scroll down to users. One of my favorite features on Google Pixel phones is that you can create more users on the same phone. You don't have to buy 2 phones for 2 people. You can share the same phone. So of course you can add another main user that's going to be able to download apps and do everything you can do on your Google Pixel. But I think the more convenient feature is to create a guest account, which is very fast and easy. You can tap on Add Guest and automatically that's it. You will have a guest account created on your Google Pixel. Then you just have to tap on Switch to Guest And in a matter of seconds, you will have a clean slate where you can't see any of your information or apps or anything. You will have a clean Google Pixel phone with the basic functionality. So if anybody that you don't really trust or know asks you to use your phone, you can give them your phone without any of your information. So you don't have to risk those people seeing things you don't want them to see or anything else. If you want to go back to your normal user, you just have to come back to the settings. Then you want to scroll all the way down to system, then scroll down to users, and then tap on exit guest mode. Again, in a couple of seconds, you'll be back to your normal account with all of your information. Of course, protected by your fingerprint or password for extra security. Now, once again, on the system page, I want you to tap on gestures because there's a lot of customization we can do on this page. First of all, you can choose to quick tap to start actions. As you can see, I have it on, but I think it's turned off by default. This functionality will allow you to double tap on the back of the phone to perform a specific action. As you can see, we have the option to take a screenshot or access your assistant, play media, show notifications, or open any app you want. As you can see, if we tap here, we can open any of the apps we have installed in our phone. As you can see, in my case, I have take a screenshot. So if I double tap, the phone is automatically going to take a screenshot of whatever is on the display. Then we have the option to quickly open the camera, which I think is on by default. If you double tap on the power button like this, it will automatically open the camera. Then we have the option to flip the camera for selfie. So as the video indicates, if you shake the phone like this, it will flip from the front camera to the rear cameras and vice versa. But I actually, as you can see, I have it enabled on my phone, but I can't seem to make it. I mean, I'm not sure if it's because of my phone has an issue or something, but I can't seem to make it work. I've tried with Android 14 and Android 15. I've tried rebooting the phone. I've tried many things and I can't seem to make it work. I'm pretty sure it's an issue with my phone because I've seen other people try the feature and it worked. So yeah, theoretically you can do it, but just a disclaimer, it doesn't work with my phone. Then moving on, I want you to take a look at the one-handed mode, which as you can see is a feature that lets you bring the display down so you can more easily access the things that are at the top. But this video is very confusing. It seems like you have to do this movement on the display, but that's not the case. You actually have to swipe down here from the bottom to make the display go down. It's not like a big gesture like it shows on the video. It's actually like a little movement at the bottom of the phone on the home button or the home bar. Last on gestures, I want you to take a look at press and hold power button because we have two options. The first one, which is the one we have by default, is power menu. So if we press and hold, it will display the power menu. But because we can also access the power menu by tapping on the volume up and power button at the same time, as you can see, I chose to select digital assistant. So if you tap and hold, we get access to Gemini or Google Assistant, depending on what you have enabled. Now back here on system, I want to show you a very useful feature. If you tap on keyboard and then you tap on personal dictionary and your language, you can actually create shortcuts for long phrases with a very tiny word. So for example, I created this one to show you. In this case, the word or phrase is okay, but I'm busy, I will call you later. And the shortcut is CVC. So anytime that I type CVC on my keyboard, I will get the shortcut to automatically create this phrase. Okay, but I'm busy, I will call you later. As you can see, if I type CVC, automatically on the suggested words, we get the full phrase. Let's tap and automatically, okay, but I'm busy, I will call you later, will replace CVC. This can be very helpful for those of you who write emails or messages that oftentimes contain the same information and you find yourself typing the same phrases all over again. Now we can create shortcuts for those phrases so you can speed up your communications a lot. Now that being said, let's go back to the main settings page. Let's scroll up until we see notifications. There it is. And let's scroll down until we see allow notification snoozing. This is also very handy for those times where you're concentrating on something and you don't want to be bothered. So once this feature is enabled, we can come back to the main page, scroll down on the notifications, and you'll find a new icon right there. That's the snooze notifications icon. If you tap on it, it will automatically snooze every new notification for an hour, which is the default option. You can also select 15, 30 minutes, and 2 hours. And of course, you can tap on undo and it will automatically default back to normal. But as I said, when you don't want to be bothered, this can be very helpful. Now, that being said, let's go back to the notifications page for a feature that does quite the contrary as snoozing. If we tap here on flash notifications, we will have the option to get an extra visual alert when we get a new notification. As you can see, we have camera flash notifications. So whenever we enable it, we will get a camera flash notification, quite literally, and we can do screen flash notifications of any color. In this case, let's select red. And when you preview or get a new notification, you'll get a flashy color on your display to better help you see that you have gotten a new notification. Once again, back on the notifications page, let's tap on notification history. And trust me, this has to be one of the most useful features that I've ever seen on a phone. If you enable the notification history, every single one of your notifications that you get will be stored here. Every single one of them. Now, that being said, let's take a break from the main settings page and access the quick settings page. So if we scroll once and twice, as you can see, we get access to the quick toggles, which, as many of you know, let you perform quick actions in a very easy way. The problem is that, as you can see, the tiles that contain the quick actions are set in a very specific way that may not be the most convenient way. So if you tap here on this little editing button at the bottom, you can actually access not only all of the tiles, so you can rearrange them as you please, but also a set of other tiles that are not available on the main page that sometimes may be more convenient or better than those default tabs. So for example, you can add dark theme, so you can automatically switch it without having to go to the settings and replace it for something that you find less useful, like for example, security and privacy. So you can take that and drag it to the hidden page so it doesn't bother you because you're not going to use it. Now, another very cool feature here on the quick toggles is the improved auto rotate functionality. So like pretty much every phone, the Pixel 9 has the auto rotate feature, which lets the phone automatically rotate from landscape to horizontal depending on what you're doing. But this year, the Pixel 9 has taken the feature to the next level. So you can, of course, turn it on or off by tapping on the tile. But if you press and hold on the tile, you can not only enable the feature, but also enable an improvement called face detection. So if you turn this on, the Pixel 9 will use feedback from the front-facing camera to better detect whether you're using it on a vertical mode or horizontal mode, so you can have a better experience, an improved auto-rotate screen, if you may. But anyways, that being said, and back to the main settings page, let's scroll all the way down to display and touch. There's a lot of things you have to change here. So first of all, I want you to swipe down to navigation mode, then tap here on the settings on gesture navigation. There it is. And then I want you to enable swipe to invoke assistant. So as you saw earlier, we can enable the assistant by tapping and holding on the power button as an option. But now if you enable swipe to invoke the assistant, you can also enable it by swiping on the bottom corners of the phone with a 45-degree orientation. It's actually not as hard as you may think. So as I said, 45 degrees on the right corner, we can access the assistant. 45 degrees on the left corner, we can access the assistant. This can be a great feature to have if you were planning on using the power button to activate the power menu and you needed another gesture to activate the assistant. Also very interesting here on navigation mode, you can actually select between the traditional swiping navigation and 3-button navigation, which is the old mechanism, the old way. By default, you are going to get the swipes, which I believe is what most people prefer. But I also know there's a lot of you who like the old version, the 3 buttons at the bottom. So you can enable those 3 buttons right here on navigation mode. Oh, and well, also, if you want to disable circle to search for some reason, it's here on navigation mode. Now back here on the main display settings, like it's been the case for a long time, we get access to a dark theme. So if we turn it on, everything that was clear is going to turn darker, so you can theoretically save a little bit more battery life and make the phone more soothing to your eyes. But what some people don't know is that if you tap on dark theme, you can select a specific time frame for the feature to get activated and then deactivated. For example, you can set the starting time at 11 a.m. or p.m., doesn't matter, and you can select the end time at 6 p.m. I would actually suggest you turn it on at night, which is when the lights are dimmer and the brighter colors on the display can be more inconvenient, but you can set the schedule at any time you want. Now, once again, back on the main display settings, let's tap on lock screen, scroll down to always show time and info, and turn it on. This is Google's version of the always on display. So whenever you have the feature enabled and you turn the phone off, instead of showing a black display, it's going to give you some information, like the time, and although you can barely see it in the video, a little fingerprint icon so you can know where to locate your finger when you want to unlock the phone. And this is very useful because before, whenever you wanted to unlock the phone and because you didn't have any information, you had to double tap to see the fingerprint icon and then unlock the device, which was an extra unnecessary step that you can skip, as I said, if you enable always show time and information. Now, something very small, but that I feel like you should also know is that down here on screen resolution, your phone won't default when you buy it and set it up for the first time to the full resolution of the display. It will actually default to a smaller resolution and aims to get a little bit better battery life. The problem is that, as many experts have concluded, when the phone has a high resolution, lowering it doesn't actually save that much battery life because it still renders everything at the full resolution. It's just then downsampling everything to the lower one, which barely has any impact in battery life. So my advice is that you treat yourself, tap full resolution, and enjoy a much sharper display at no additional cost. But anyways, that being said, let's go back to the main settings page for a feature that I encourage every single one of you watching this video to turn on. If you tap network and internet and then tap on internet, you'll see both your Wi-Fi connection and your 3G, 4G, or 5G connection. Now, if you then tap on the settings icon for that cellular connection right here, there is going to be, of course, an option for 4G calling, but also an option for Wi-Fi calling, which is very interesting. So if you turn this feature on every single time you're connected to Wi-Fi, instead of wasting money or more battery life connecting to the cellular antennas to make phone calls, you can actually make those phone calls with Wi-Fi. So it's cheaper and better for your battery life and for your wallet. Now, again, here on network and internet, a feature that is available for every single one of you is a free VPN by Google. So if you tap here on VPN and you tap on VPN by Google, you'll very easily, just by tapping here on use VPN, access a free, good VPN with no ads, with complete safety because it's made by Google. That will be available for free for every single one of you that bought a Google Pixel phone. Now, that being said, let's go back to the main settings page, scroll down to sound and vibration. Let's then tap on now playing and turn the feature on. This is a very handy feature for those of you who want to discover new songs that you hear publicly. So automatically, you are going to download a database of songs, every single song that's available on Spotify or Google services, so you can have some data on that song. As you can see, it didn't take a long time to fully download the package. It's not a big download, don't worry. So now every single time there's a song playing and the Pixel can hear that song, it will save the data on that song for you. I advise you enable show search button on lock screen so you can get that information on your lock screen and play a random song so you can see how the feature works. As you can see, after a couple seconds, it successfully identified the song. This is very, very convenient because you don't actually have to enter any apps. You don't have to do anything. The phone is going to do it automatically, even if it's turned off. But anyways, let's go back to the main sound and vibration page. Let's tap on vibration and haptics. Of course, if it's not enabled, you have to turn it on. And then I highly encourage you to activate vibrate first, then ring gradually. What this is going to do is it's going to softly and smoothly introduce the noises and vibrations of a phone call instead of doing it abruptly, which is what usually happens. And I'm pretty sure you can relate, it can be a little uncomfortable sometimes. It can cause a jump scare. Now also here on vibrations and haptics, if you tap on adaptive vibration and turn it on, as you can see from the video pop-up, it is going to adapt the level of vibration depending on the placement of the phone. So if it's positioned on a desk, which is harder, it's going to vibrate less. But if it's positioned on a couch, which is softer, it's going to increase the amount of vibration. Now that said, here on the main settings page, I want you to tap on battery and scroll down to battery percentage, and we'll turn it on because for some reason this feature keeps coming turned off by default, although it's very useful. If you have it turned off, you can see the battery percentage at the top, which of course is incredibly handy to know how much battery life you have left on your phone. And well, if you go back to the main settings page and scroll all the way down, you will find the digital well-being and parental controls section. Here you can enable a range of very useful features. I'm not sure why they are located in this new page, but they are very useful. The first one that I want to show you is flip to shh. And it's a feature that, like the name suggests, lets you shush the phone or shut up the phone, make it not make any vibrations or noises by flipping it. So if you are using your phone or you have it on your desk facing up and you receive a phone call, but you don't want to dismiss the phone call because that would be rude, you can just flip the phone like this and it will not make any noises, not bother you, so you can keep doing whatever you were doing without being rude. Now also here on digital well-being is the heads up functionality. This is for those of you who are always glued to your phone, even if you're walking in the middle of the street. This, of course, can be an issue because you can bump into other people, objects, or let's pray it doesn't happen, you can bump into cars. So you, ideally, if you know you're this kind of person, you want to turn this feature on. So if you tap on next, you can choose to activate physical activity, which is basically going to use the cameras and the sensors on the Pixel to identify if you're about to bump into something. And you can also turn on the location services, which is optional. That's going to give you even more precision by accessing the GPS on the phone so it can track in real time where you are for some added on precision when you have this feature turned on. If you know yourself and you know this is going to happen, you are going to be looking at your phone in a busy street, turn the feature on for some added on security. Now also on the settings page, although these are technically not settings, are the Google functionalities and services. So if we scroll down to Google, tap here, we will see all the Google services available on the phone. We have the recommended ones, which are probably the most useful or the ones that Google wants to promote. And then we have all Google services available for the phone. So here we can find things like the wallet, play games, quick share, things that we've seen in this video, things that we will see further on in this video. But I actually want to talk about the recommended ones we have in the front page. The first one is Find My Device. If you tap here on Open and add your security measure for obvious reasons, you can access all of your Android devices so you can track their location, see where they are, or even contact those devices, making a noise or sending a message. This is very similar to the Find My iPhone feature for Apple devices. Also here on the main page, you have autofill. This is probably my favorite Google feature out of all the Google features. This is basically going to store your data, well, on your Google account on the cloud. And whenever you want to fill a form or log into a website, it is, like the name suggests, going to autofill all of that information automatically instead of you having to type your password, your email, your number, your name, your phone, your all your data. This is going to save you a lot of time if you're constantly filling forms, or logging in and out of places. Then you have Google Wallet, which I don't think needs any explanation. It's much like Apple Pay or Samsung Pay. It's meant to replace your physical cards. And then you have Quick Share, which I absolutely love. It is a faster and more reliable version of Airdrop, the feature to share information between Apple devices. If you have any Android device that's relatively recent, you will have access to Quick Share. So you just have to tap on Share and then tap on Quick Share. Automatically, any phone that's nearby will pop up here. And then in a couple seconds, with the tap of a button, you'll get the full image without compression. So this is the same image with the same image size we had on the Pixel, automatically on any other Android phone, in this case, the S24 Ultra. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the new camera features on the Pixel 9. As many of you know, Google Pixel phones are mainly known for their photo capabilities, and Google this year has knocked it out of the park, combining great photo quality and a bunch of new AI features. So first of all, we have a much improved night photography capability for photos and selfies. So if we tap on the little settings icon on the bottom left, we can select between 3 different lighting options for when you take photos at night. You can choose to not enhance the pictures at all. You can choose to enhance the pictures with night shift, and then you can just choose to turn on the flash. The night shift, is the feature that I'm talking about. It has been much improved as opposed to previous years. And well, just so you can get a better idea on how good this feature is, I've turned off all of the lights on my studio so we can actually take a night mode photo. In this case, we are going to take a picture of the S24. We are first going to take the picture without any lighting improvements, so a natural, normal photo without any extra artificial intelligence processing. We are then going to take a picture with night shift, which is the improved mode for night photos. As you can see, it's going to take a little bit longer. And last but not least, we are going to take a picture with the traditional flash. There it is. As you can see, the base picture without any extra processing looks fine. I mean, you can tell it's an S24, but it's very grainy and it lost a lot of detail. Then we have the picture with the add-on processing, which of course doesn't actually have more detail. All of the extra lighting and detail we can see here is done by the processing on the phone. It's not like the scene had more physical lighting. It's just the extra processing done by the device, which, considering that, is very, very impressive. And last but not least, we get the picture taking with the physical flash, which, yes, has noticeably more detail because there was more light in the scene, but it also has a much different look and is not always available, because in this case it was useful since the phone was like a couple inches away from the Pixel 9. But if you want to take a night photo of a field or of a group of people, the physical flash on the phone may not be as useful. In that case, the night shift functionality is going to be the better bet. But anyways, that being said, let's turn the lights back on because I want to show you another very interesting feature for photos and videos on the Pixel 9. So as you can see, I have this picture right here of a landscape on my backyard that I actually want to zoom in on. I want to zoom as much as I can on this image. The problem, of course, which happens with every single phone and every single digital camera, is that the more you zoom, the less detail you get. Now, the Pixel 9 has a new feature to help you counteract this loss of quality. So if you tap on Edit, then you go to Tools right here, and then you tap on Zoom Enhance, you can actually zoom in on the image and then crop and enhance. So instead of just cropping on the image, we are going to perform an enhancement of the crop so we can get more quality than with the normal zoom. Of course, it is going to take a couple seconds because it's almost generating a new image based on the previous one. But once it's done, it is going to give us a sharper image than the one we could have had without the enhancement. So as you can see, if we tap, we can see the normal image, this one, and the enhanced image. Now, as I said earlier, and this is a feature that I actually wanted to show you in this video, if we shake the phone, it theoretically should go from the rear camera to the front-facing camera and vice versa. but I just can't seem to make it work on my Google Pixel. So if any of you has any idea on why this is not working, please tell me in the comments. Now, something very cool you can do is if you come to the video section and then tap on the settings icon on the bottom left, you can enable this little option called Video Boost. If you enable that feature, every single video you capture from that point on is going to have some extra details and metadata or whatever it's called. So you can then, after you took the video, enhance that video with AI so it looks better. So I'm actually going to turn the lights off again so we can capture a very bad looking video with the worst lighting conditions we can possibly imagine for any video. There's absolutely no lighting, so it's going to look pretty bad, but that's the goal because we want to enhance that video with Video Boost. So as you can see, once the video is captured, we have two versions of the video. We have the normal version, but we also have the Video Boost version, which takes a while to process. It's waiting to back up the video before it starts. But once it's finished, it's going to give us an improved version of the video. You can better see it with this video of my keyboard that I took earlier with also kind of bad lighting conditions. This is the original video, which is a little bit more grainy and a little bit less sharp. And this is the improved video, which you may not be able to see because there's many layers of compression happening before you see the video on YouTube, but it actually looks better, I can tell you, because I'm looking at them both in real life. Now, something you should also know is that if you have Video Boost enabled and you switch to 8K, most of the videos you capture in 8K, they are not going to be native 8K, but an upscaling done with AI from a 4K or even 1080p resolution. It's going to look better than 4K, it's going to look sharper, but it is still not native 8K. It is going to be an upscaled version of 8K. Now, if you go back to the selfie camera for photos, there's actually 3 different illuminations you can use. Much like with normal photos, you can use no night shift, so there's no additional processing. You can use night shift, which is the feature that I showed you earlier that enhances anything you want, any picture with AI processing, but you can also use selfie illumination. This is a very, very interesting feature because I didn't tell you in this video, but the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro have 3000 nits of brightness. So instead of using a physical flash, it can actually ramp up the brightness all the way up on the phone and create a mega flash sort of like illumination beam using the display on the phone. And it's actually very handy. It makes a big difference between having it and not having it. But anyways, that being said, let's move on to what is probably my favorite photo feature for the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro. If you tap here on the edit icon and then you tap on the new AI icon at the bottom left, you can access a new editing menu, which doesn't seem like an editing menu because it doesn't have many options, but that actually has a lot of functionalities to take your photos to the next level. So the first thing you can do is to tap on this little AI icon in the middle of the phone. That will give you a couple different options. The first one is to auto frame the picture, which is going to basically give you a couple different framings for the same image. In this case, I don't think there was a big issue with framing on the image, but sometimes you take an ultra wide photo and it's tilted or it doesn't look right. This is going to use AI to better frame the image and make it look more professional. You can also change the sky, which is amazing. It's probably one of my favorite features on the phone because the way the sky looks in contrast with the other elements on the photo, as you can see, makes a huge difference on the vibe you get from that image. As you can see, these pictures look a lot more professional, a lot better than the original pictures. You can see the original picture almost looks like a phone photo. It doesn't look very professional, but this, you could swear this comes from a professional photographer that's tweaked the colors and that knows exactly how to, change. No, it's a phone photo with AI. Then more in that line on the main menu, you can tap on golden hour. So your picture will seem like it has been taken in golden hour, which, as many of you know, is that perfect time of the day with perfect lighting where everything looks incredible. As you can see, it gives me multiple versions of the photo. And well, last but not least, you can tap here on stylized, which is basically going to create more artistic approaches based on the original image. So this is going to deviate a lot more from reality. As you can see, this is the original picture. This is the picture that I'd created. This is the original picture. It's not even close to real life, but at the same time, it can create more interesting images. As you can see, these are things that, well, this doesn't actually make a lot of sense. This is like a city painting or something. Not sure, but it's going to have artistic approaches, like a complete freedom to do whatever it wants, but based on the original image. Now, something that I found absolutely incredible is that you can circle anywhere you want on the picture and then tap on reimagine. So you can create anything you want and paste it where you created the circle. So in this case, I'm going to add a UFO to the image. It's going to take a little bit of time to process, but after 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever seconds, it's going to give me a couple pictures based on the original with, well, maybe more than 6 seconds, more like 15, with UFOs where I circled. So you can, whoa, this one is very obvious. It's very close. Jesus. I can probably send this to like some people and they would probably believe it. It's never going to give you the same result twice. So be careful. If you like a result, make sure to save it. And you can always come back, do the same thing again, and it's going to give you a batch of results that are going to be different from the original ones. Now, that said, there is also a lot of things you can do on your Pixel 9 and 9 Pro to customize it to your liking. So if you tap and hold on the home screen and then tap on wallpaper and style, you can actually change the app grid layout. So as you can see, by default, we get a 4x5 layout. So 4 icons horizontally and 5 icons vertically, but we can change it to 5x5. So it's 5 horizontally, 5 vertically, or 4x4, 3x4, or even 2x4, which is actually a little ridiculous. It only lets you have 4 icons on each page. In my case, I like 4x5, but you can also choose 5x5 or 4x4, depends on what you like. Now, also here on the wallpaper settings, you can create themed icons. So if you turn this feature on, as you can see, all of the icons on your home screen are going to have, well, maybe not all of them. The Amazon one and the TikTok one don't change, but most of them are going to change, and they will have the same color palette for more consistency. As you can see, you can also change between different color palettes for a little bit more customization. Of course, you can also change your wallpaper between the ones Google's offering by default and any picture that's on your gallery. And if you tap here on lock screen, you can customize your lock screen as much as you want. You can change the font of the text between a range of different options. You can also change the color and size. So you can change the color of the text and the intensity of the color. You can change the size between dynamic and small, which is going to show up at the top left, as you can see. You can also, very interesting, change the color palette of the wallpaper. And now you can also change the shortcuts at the bottom left and right of the lock screen. So I think by default you get home and you get wallet, but in this case I changed the left one to the flashlight and the right one to the camera, as you can see, to have it just like I have it on my iPhone for more convenience and more consistency. Now, something very interesting and very useful is that if you tap here on more lock screen options and then tap on add text on your lock screen, you can add any text you want to your lock screen. So if you lose your phone, you can add your phone, your email, or anything you want, so the person that finds your phone has an easier time retrieving the phone to you, the owner. Of course, it's not guaranteed to happen. If you get the phone stolen, the person is probably not going to pay attention to the text, but this is going to increase the chances of getting the phone back if you lose it. Now, if you go back to wallpaper and style and home screen and then tap on more wallpapers, you can now create emoji wallpapers. So it's very simple. You get a text prompt, so you can select the emojis you want added to your wallpaper, and then you can select between different patterns. So if you want to have them more close together or more spread away or more diverse when it comes to the sizing, as you can see, you can also change the physical size of each one of the emojis. And of course, you can add a different background color to create an emoji background that looks exactly like you want it to look. And well, something that I'm pretty sure most of you didn't know is that if you take any of the icons located in the bottom row out of its placement, like this, instead of getting an empty placement for another icon, you get a smart icon or a smart app, which is basically going to get filled with potentially every app on your phone, depending on your usage. So if the Google Pixel with its AI capabilities senses that you're using Gemini or the Assistant or TikTok all the time, it is going to place that app on the bottom row for more convenience. But then if it senses that you change and you start using the weather all the time, it's going to change to the weather. The cool thing is that this applies to every single icon on the bottom row. So if you take all the icons out, they will get replaced by, as you can see, smart apps that are going to dynamically change and that you can distinguish because they have sort of like an outline with a plain color instead of just the normal app icon. But anyways, that said, that was a great deal of tips, tricks, and settings. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any feedback, good or bad or constructive, anything you want, please tell me in the comments. And that said, I hope to see you again in a new video.